crazy how fast it all goes? One moment, we're worried about finishing a 4th grade assignment on time, and the next, frantically looking at our phone hoping we didn't miss our alarm for work. I remember getting Baloo almost 10 years ago, and I had just moved away from home in Minnesota. We lived in this small studio apartment, probably a little bit more than 300 square feet. I remember thinking how nice it would be to have a house with a big yard for him, but that was something that seemed so distant, and at that time wasn't worth thinking about. Since then, a lot has happened. I've had 3 different jobs, finished a master's, started streaming, had a few failed relationships, and one that worked. And then suddenly, somehow, you reach that point in life that once seemed so distant. We've officially moved into our first house since moving away from home. I won't lie, it will be weird not sharing walls with someone, especially after so long. It's all been so exciting, yet scary at the same time. Leaving something familiar for something new. But in the end, I know it'll be worth it. One of the first projects I want to do is to create an art studio. It's been a while since I've had time or space to paint, and it makes me happy. It's just the one wall, so it's not going to be anything crazy, but I think we can make it work. So tonight we'll go shopping for a few things, and clean up the space to get ready for tomorrow. I still remember the first time I visited California like it was yesterday. The lights, the food, the people. I was 12 years old and hadn't traveled much. But for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged. And from that point on, I knew I'd end up here. I didn't know how or when, but I knew. Growing up, I was pretty insecure on the way I looked, so I'd always go shopping at night so no one would see me. Now I don't really care, but I still enjoy shopping at night. Do you ever wonder if you had a moment with your younger self, what you would say? What advice you'd give? I think about it sometimes. I would tell her not to fear what other people think. To be proud of your hobbies. To give yourself grace. And most importantly, as cliche as it might be to say, to follow your heart because it might just lead you to where you belong. Today is the day we put it together. And we'll start with painting this desk. I used it at our last place to hold a TV, but haven't gotten much use here. So, I'm using it for the art. This is kind of my first DIY ever, for the most part. But I'm kind of excited to try something new. I originally got this desk in the IKEA clearance section for around $100, so it was a pretty good deal. You'll never know what you'll find. After the primer dried, it was time for some paint. I picked this color because I thought it would look nice with the house. I've also just been liking the color green more recently. And I changed out the knobs for ones I found at Home Depot. I think the gold looks nice. And I had a few touch-ups. When we went to IKEA, we got 2 shelves. They were about $25 each. The walls in this house aren't straight, so mounting was a little bit harder. But we'll make it work. And I ordered a few things from Amazon. At this point, I think they come to our house every day. I looked online to find something to organize my oil paints, but I couldn't find anything I liked. So I decided to make something. I took a couple picture frames and lined up the paints how I liked them. Then, I took a few clips and attached them to the ends. Nails were too long, so I ended up using Gorilla Glue. I'm hoping they don't fall off from the weight. And it worked. I also got this vase in the IKEA clearance section. I decided to use it for my brushes. And we needed plants. Several plants. And a new tabletop easel. The first flower to bloom at the new house was a red rose, so I thought this would be the perfect Lego set to build. It also goes with the painting I'm working on. Building Lego is one of my favorite things to do, especially right before bed. Once it was done, I added it to one of the shelves I installed earlier. It looks good next to Bob. The last finishing touches, it really came together. I was so happy that the glue held and the hooks didn't come down. I won't lie, I wasn't totally sure it would work, but it did. I still haven't figured out where I want everything, but I think it'll be nice to grow into this space. I had this chair from the last apartment, so I decided to use it here. And I threw a cozy blanket over it. My goal is to fill this space with a lot of color. I think it's important to make your home somewhere you want to be. Someplace that motivates you and makes you happy, no matter how small. Because one day you'll wake up 10 years from now, wondering where the time went.